Hey people, Anthony 4x4 Diesel. Now this is a VIP video at this stage, just a quick one, really important. This is why you join the VIP group, and this is why you should watch all the videos till the end. I know it's hard, but one video a day, 10 minutes. If I can make the time to put it together and put in the effort, you should be able to make the time sometime throughout the day to spend 10 minutes. And like I said, more advantageous to you if you spend a bit more time and do a few videos. Now, this is a set of HILUX front wheel bearings. So specifically urgent message to anyone with a HILUX, if they're going to replace their wheel bearings, even more so if they're going to get them from me, even more so you can just avoid this. Let's keep it simple. Now, this is the deal, right? These were brand new a couple of weeks ago. Now, what's happened is, see the bearing, there's a hole here, see that play there? See the play there? And there's more in one than the other. So it's my job to work out what went wrong. He thinks he over-torqued them. You know, there's been a few posts about that. I don't know if you've seen those. Sorry about the wind. It's blowing in the door here a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me all right. But basically, I'm going to run through quickly one thing you do need to do, which I believe is the cause of the problem here. Now, firstly, early days, Prado's pretty straightforward, so you don't have to worry too much. But if you watch the rest of the video, you might learn something and learn you do need to check things. When it comes to installation, that's why I suppose mechanics or vehicle technicians are what they are and meant to be qualified, because they're meant to have been taught all these things. Well, they haven't either, and you guys aren't mechanics or technicians. That's why you've got to watch and learn. It's not just quick slap it on, happy days. If you don't know what you're doing, you can actually miss something and then have a problem like this. Now, first one is early days, we were supplying these with, see there's a spacer, so you got the hub, you got the seal, you got other seal. Don't worry about any of that. What matters here at the moment is we're talking about on the HILUX only, the spacers and the retainers and all that sort of thing. Now, on the Prado, the ABS sensor is built into the bearing. It's a different bearing, so don't worry about that. You're not going to have any issues. They're all the same. Doesn't matter if it's ABS or not. I supply you ABS. You're not going to have any issues. Torque it to the correct torque specification, of course. Well, you've been using 235 and that works. So that's what I do. Feels right, looks right. You're literally torquing, you're squashing the inner part of the bearing to between the hub and the CV shaft, right? When it comes to the Prados. But when it comes to the HILUX, same thing. There's a spacer here. It's the spacers, inner part of the bearing through to the hub. So it's all predetermined, you know what I mean? It's not going to make a big difference. So what I'm trying to say is, early days, we did supply with the ABS sensor instead of, see that space, it's about 5 mil thick where I'm running my fingernail. That's the bottom, that's the top. That's we'll call that the thin spacer, because that's all it is, a spacer. On the HILUX, normally that's where the ABS sensor would go. It's the same thickness, but it's got a sensor around here. And of course, we've got both of these in stock, but they cost money. And to save money, I worked out, let's not supply those two pieces, and it's going to save some money to help keep the cost down instead of putting the price up. That's why these have been the same price for probably over 5 years. Nothing's really changed. The postage went up a little bit, but it's all about the same, right? $1,100 for the pair delivered to your door, express post, the way we do it. But what you need to do is you get your old ones, and he's followed the directions and he's done that. Just gently with a flat blade, and you'll get, or however you want to do it, right? You can see, a bit of it doesn't really matter, right? Just because you're not going to really hurt them anyway. Just don't damage the bearings, the O-ring that's normally there. Get these off. You've got to put them back the way they were. Most cars are going to have the ABS sensor. Comes off really easy. You just gently under the ABS sensor, work your way around really slowly, and you'll get it off. Anyway, he's done all that, so he's got it off. But I just want to include that as well, because there's been a couple of people that forgot to change those, and they've just put the bearings as they've come to them into the vehicle. Therefore, you're clamping your CV, it's not making contact with this. This normally sits a little bit proud of the end of the hub. That's the inner hub, right? It normally sits a little bit proud because that CV is pressing on there then to the inner part of the bearing, to the hub. But if you don't have that there, the CV is pressing on here, and that's not where it's meant to go. So you're not actually on the bearing, it's on the hub. So the bearing's just sitting there. So as soon as you put weight of the vehicle, go around corners, it's all over. It's all bad news, right? You can't do that. Worst case scenario is somehow you put the wrong spacer, you put ABS or not. That's not the end of the world, but it's the end of the world if you do this. But I just wanted to cover that as well. So first thing you got to do, you get your hubs. These two pieces aren't there, you take them off your old ones and you put them, clean them up, and you put them a little bit of grease. They'll fit on loosely, tap, 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 tap gently, and they'll just go down and they'll spin and they'll be loose. And when you put it in the vehicle, this will go against the back of the CV, right? CV pushes onto here and your nut will be around there, happy days. So what's gone wrong here to end up with a bearing like that, right? And have a heap of play in the bearing? Well, I haven't spent hours on this. It doesn't, to me, I don't know, it's not, I'm not sort of saying how good I am or anything, but I just kind of go, well, it seems to me pretty easily common sense. There can only really be, well, I've only really come up with one cause, and it's often your first thought when you've got that common sense, uncommon sense, and bang, it's your first thought of what you thought of, that's what it is, if you know what I mean. So this is what I think's happened, okay? So as you can see, this bearing would have been pressed all the way down, right, including the inner, which has come up. Right, then he would have put these spacers on. This would have sat just a little bit proud, and anyone that's done a HILUX one of these, you can put it in the comments if you like, say, hey, yep, you're right, this sits, you know, about a millimetre. Hang on a minute, let me go get one. Actually, no, I won't go and get one because they haven't got them on there and it's just going to waste more time. Now, what I'm saying is I could put this in the press and press that, and that'd go back down and it'd sit at the right position, right? I might even do that in the end with these. What I'm going to try and do is reuse these hubs so we can save some money and the bolts and stuff like that. So we've only lost a bearing and a seal and labour time and postage, and yeah, it's a mess, right? You just want to avoid it because it is a pain. So what's happened? Everyone's saying, what's happened? What's happened? But you need to get the whole story about the other things that can happen and about the slow down, stop and think, because it's in the videos where I've said these come with a really hot, get the rest of the tape off as well where I've taped that seal on there. These come with a really horrible coating on them, right? You can see a bit of what's left of it. It takes, I probably spend about 10 minutes each one trying to clean off. It's a pain in the butt, right? So what I clean, you can see the shiny bit there. See that bit? That's because that's where the bearing press is on. That's where the seal runs. That part needs to be clean. Out here doesn't matter. It's not my concern. This is rust prevention. It can stay there, right? This side doesn't really matter too much. You know, your nut will go against there, happy days. This is rust prevention, no problem. Same around here. There's no thick build. If there's any thick parts, you can scrape it off, but I'm not worried about cleaning this side either. It's all rust prevention. Same reason they put it there in the first place, so let's not clean it all off, right? But there's one more thing you need to do, and that is check inside these splines for, see the crap that's still there? There's a bit of it. I don't clean that. As I said in videos, what you need to do when you get them and you're doing your changeover, because I want this really clean, right? And there's no point me cleaning them because then they might get dust, dirt. They might go rusty because they could be sitting on my shelf for a couple of months before I send them. I don't want rust, you know what I mean? So what you need to do when you get these HILUX hubs is spray the brake cleaner down there. Do not get it in the bearing. Spray it down the hole only. It's only going to come out the bottom. It's not going to get to any bearing. So you can either do it this way or a bit of both. Spray it in there. Don't miss the hole. And on your toothbrush, and get your toothbrush and brush your teeth. Or in this case, brush the splines, right? Brush, brush, brush. Right, you can do it that way. Or you can do it this way as well. You can spray it in this side, clean this side, and it'll run out there. It's not going to get in the bearing. It's going to run out the bottom. I suggest you sit it on a rag or something that's going to absorb it all. And what I want you to do is clean all that crap out of there. See all that crap? Now, this is my theory. You see where I'm headed at the moment? So what I think's happened, the HILUX shafts are quite often a lot harder and tighter to get in there compared to the Prado ones. The HILUX ones, harder than the Prado is what we've found on our limited experience working on Prados and HILUXes. Let us know in the comments, right, on this post, whatever the case may be, what you think, what your experience is. But I might have to put this on YouTube as well, to be quite honest, because people need to avoid it. Doesn't matter if they get it from me or not, whether they pull it apart, do it themselves, whether they get new hubs or not. You need to, this is going to help anyone avoid a big problem, okay? So that's why I'm doing it. I'm trying to save money, save headaches, whatever. So what I believe's happened is he's put it through. Might have been a bit hard to get through, might not have been. Either way, he's tapped it or rammed it a little bit, whatever the case may be, to get it through enough so that at this side you can get the nut on. And he's done the nut up and he's torqued it up. He reckons he over-torqued it. He accidentally did 320 instead of 230 or whatever, something like that. Doesn't matter. But to be quite honest, I recommend you do torque it. But whether you torque it to 200, 250 or 300, personally, I don't think it's going to matter or make any difference. I don't believe it's going to cause these bearings to fail in 30 kilometres like they did. Right? Didn't take long and bang, you know, he's got the wobble in the wheel. To me, that says, just like the spacers are not there, same thing happens if you torque that and say it clicks at 300 or whatever it is, but it hasn't pulled away in. It's not talking the steel to the steel. It's talking the resistance of the drive shaft in the hole there, how far it's gone in. Do you know what I mean? That's what it could have been. That's the only thing I can come up with, right? So then what you've got is, you've got approximately, it's going to be not in all the way. There's going to be a 4 or 5 mil gap, roughly, is what we're looking at to have this amount of, you know, to have that. I've measured it, right? You can see it. You know, you can see it coming up and down. The bearing's ruined. You could risk it for the biscuit and clamp it down, and it might be okay. I suppose it might not be ruined, but because there's grease in there, they're in new, and they haven't been new. So they might, you know, ruin's ruined. They're not new anymore, that's for sure, but they could go for 100,000 Ks. Who knows, mate? So you could put it in the press and press that down the rest of the way, how it was when you installed it. But for this to get pushed back there, the only thing that can allow that to happen is the back of this CV shaft here to there, to this nut on the face here. It locks it in position to stop this from being able to happen, because that can only happen if the back part of this inner race has pushed backwards, which it has by that. So, do you know what I'm saying? So now that I haven't even thought about it, I went, bang, this is what I think's happened. I've got to do a video. I've got to put in these VIPs, let them know what's going on. We don't want this to happen again, and get you guys educated, right? Please don't think because you've done a couple of jobs on your car that you can stop watching the channel. There's so much information. There's other servicing. There's other maintenance. There's other repairs. It's not just a matter of look when you need it and search it, because it's going to take you a lifetime, years of education to get on channel, to get to know, to get mechanical, to get your head around it so you understand stuff like I do. I want you to understand it like I do. Life's going to be, if you understand things like I do, again, I don't want to be going, mate, I'm the best or anything like that. I'm not the best. I make a lot of mistakes, right? Not necessarily on cars. I mean, you know, life in general. Life's a pretty big thing, isn't it, right? But I'll tell you what, I'm good at a lot of things, and I get a lot of things right, and they're the things I want to share with you. So if you could only just please be patient with all this waffling. Didn't you just learn something? Isn't this something amazing that's going to save you $1,000? It's going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big, I'm not going to name who it was. It's up to him if he wants to say, yeah, that was me, whatever. Nobody in VIP group's going to go, oh, you idiot, whatever, you know. You know what? I'm not going to swear, but you know what? It happens, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And that's what's happened here. It's quite simple. He's missed a video, or the 2 videos, or the 3 videos. And again, I'll be saying it in about another 10 videos over the next few months. Hey, HILUX. And people are going to be going, oh, see, he just wants to sell me HILUX hubs. I don't care if you buy HILUX hubs. I've got them there for people that need them. Take it or leave it. It doesn't bother me. What I'm trying to do is tell you, you need to clean that. I've said it in videos. Like I said, it got missed because you need hubs. You saw one video about hubs and then you went, I'm not saying he's done this, I'm just saying general talk now. Oh yeah, I need hubs, get the hubs, yeah, watch 1 or 2 videos, put it together. Unless you watched all the videos all the time so you understand it, you've missed it. So he's missed the cleaning that. Now, let me finish a bit more on the, so I'm spending, 12 minutes or more now. I'm going to spend a bit more time because, mate, I love you people. I want to help you, so please listen. So what I want you to do, brake cleaner, toothbrush, clean that till you look in there and go, oh yeah, that's beautiful. And then when it's beautiful, what I want you to do is get something like WD-40, something like that, whatever just happened to be there, or CRC or Inox, and I just want you to spray that in there because that's a bit of a lubricant, protectant, and that'll blow any other small debris out. I don't want any cleaner left in there. It can make things a bit sticky to slide in and out. And then you can get something like a bit of the moly grease, just a little bit, or you can get some spray lithium grease, whatever, and just spray a little bit of that in there, or put it on your shaft or both ends so that when you put it in, it just slides in nicely, and you should be able to slide it in nicely. They're a little bit tight. You might have to give it a, a bit of a tap, 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 bit of a ramming a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. And I want you to feel that the shaft goes in all the way, or even if you get in most of the way, and then you put the nut on the shaft here, and you're doing it up kind of by hand, and you feel it pull in, and then it's all the way in, and you go, yep, I can feel it now. It's all the way in, I know. And have a look at the back and go, yep, looks like the shafts. You'll tell if the shafts. Have a look at it before you pull it apart. Have a look, make sure that shaft looks like it did before, where the dust seals are, yep. Looks like it's all. Otherwise, you look at it and you go, no, it's not in yet. It's got 3 mil to go. And what will happen is, you'll torque this up, it'll click because it's got so much resistance from this crap. I wish they didn't use it. They don't use it on the Prado hubs. It does cause problems. It's just caused another problem. It's a bloody mess. It gets stuck all over on the floor down here where I clean them all up. It's like it's worse than bubblegum. You know when you go to the movies and you sit on some kid's bloody chewy? Yeah, that's why I don't go to the movies. My cinema's better. But anyway, bada bing, right? Bada boom. Hope that helps. I know it's a bit of a long video, but I hope you understand why I had to do it. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on, whatever you got to do, follow that stuff so that you can get yourself educated and avoid problems like this. I hope he hasn't installed the next set. I did say, please wait until I get these back, because he was saying, oh, you know, oh, hopefully I'm going to get them Tuesday, put them in straight away. Mate, I hope that he cleaned that, because otherwise it's going to be the same situation over again. I said, wait. I just got them now. It's Thursday. As soon as they got dropped to the door, I ran, I got the box, I opened it up. Here we are. It's all happening like live, because I care. I want to get the information out there as soon as possible. Sorry you missed the video where I said clean that. Bada bing. Some people are going, oh, you could, like I said, I could clean it, then it might go rusty, and that's worse than cleaning that. Whatever. I don't know how long they're going to sit there. It's not hard to clean. That's a small amount compared to the amount of build-up of crap on the back of them, and they store them. They must spray them and stuff, and they spray them like that, and it runs down, and it's really thick on the bottom end down here where I've got to clean it. That's a real pain. I'm like here, like I said, probably 10 minutes a hub, which when you're pumping a few out, you're just standing there for hours cleaning this gummy stuff, whatever it's called. Someone can put it in the comments, you know the stuff, some anti-corrode. It's great stuff, but it's terrible. Don't put it on these, please, Thailand hubs. Anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Probably not on YouTube, but subscribe, turn the bell on if you got to the end. And, you know, I don't know, what are the people that don't do that going to do? Anyway, catch you on the next one. See ya.